Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in to the David Pidula podcast. In today's episode, I want to talk about exposing yourself, not by taking your clothes off, but rather by putting yourself out there for the entire world to see. Now, putting yourself out there is a really terrifying thing. In this solo episode, I'll go over the fears that many people have when it comes to releasing music, a website, merch, whatever it is that you or anyone else struggles with. So before we get started, feel free to check out the new merch on the website. I got tank tops, sweatshirts, water bottles, whatever. There's a few things up there right now. If you notice something that you'd like to see on there, send me a message and I'll see what I can do. Every purchase helps support the show, and so does sharing these episodes with all your friends. That's actually the best way to support the show, is just getting it out there for your friends and bandmates to hear. So thanks again for tuning in. Let's get into the episode. So to start off, let's talk about fear. Fear that people are going to mock what you release to the world, fear that no one will like what you create, fear that consumers of your music, your art, your creation will use that to look into you and find your soul a little unsettling. Many people are also afraid of failure. They don't want to be seen as the person who almost did something, but failed. The truth is that people who succeed have failed more times than most have even tried. Overnight success just doesn't exist, but rather is a culmination of many failures and a few small successes. If you're too afraid to fail, then you're too afraid to succeed. Fear of failure also breeds fear of rejection. We all want people to like us to a certain extent, and we risk our sense of well-being and comfort by putting things out there that make us vulnerable, things that make us easy targets. Take the band Rush, for example. They are a very famous prog rock band that has been around for over 40 years. Rush has an incredibly dedicated fan base who decorate their house with memorabilia. On the other hand, I know people that hate Rush more than any other group, and it's a fiery passion. It's kind of scary sometimes how much they hate a group of 3 people. But the point is, if you do great work, you will have so many dedicated followers, but it won't come without hate. The goal here is just to be so good that all of the love and support negates the hate. To finish off this topic of fear, just know that everyone is so busy thinking the exact same thing, that they are too afraid to put themselves out there, that they're worried about what everyone else is going to think. They're all thinking about how stupid they feel, that they don't have time to hate us for what we do. If they do notice our small successes and are resentful, it's more than likely just jealousy caused by the fact that we're actually doing things. In essence, you are not special enough to live in people's heads rent-free unless you do something so great that proves otherwise. So let's talk about some ways that you can build your confidence and be ready to put yourself out there. If you knew me in high school or college, first of all, I want to publicly apologize. But I used to be the most insecure and awkward person in the world. I went to college for music, and when I went, I knew I needed to build my confidence if I ever wanted to do music for a living. I had to talk to people with conviction and not be a dick and stop focusing on myself. And that's really with anything in life, but especially music when it's a creative field and people just want to have a good time. So one thing I focused on was surrounding myself with great people. I can't remember which book I read it in, but I've got this small bookshelf, and it's got like 10 books that I think are worth more than my college education. Maybe I'll do some book reviews sometime if you guys are interested in that, but they really changed my life. I think this one was Integrity by Dr. Henry Cloud. The book says that you are the sum of the 5 people you are around the most. And no statement has ever been more true. It is so important that you can be around great people and build a successful mindset and work ethic. Being around people that are going to give you that drive to get up early and get to work on your band's website or writing new music or anything, just that drive to keep going and keep pushing, that's so crucial. That's one of the things I miss about being in college was when I went to college for music, there were all these practice rooms and they were always filled with people that had a common goal of just being the best musician we could possibly be. That drive and that mindset pushed us all a lot farther than we would have gone on our own. If you can surround yourself with people that inspire you, you'll end up inspiring others as well. Now let's talk about some things you can do to build confidence. The first thing I'd recommend is pushing the bubble a little bit. Now think of your comfort zone. Are you afraid to talk to people in a crowd? Are you afraid to go up to someone totally new? Do you just have general social anxiety? If that's true, your comfort zone might be a bit too small. If you can push the limits, you'll be more comfortable in more situations. And you just take baby steps. It's not like you have to go give a giant speech in front of a massive crowd, but just take baby steps. The first thing you can do is challenge yourself to talk to at least one new person per day. Now, this was really easy in college. Now, if you're in college and listening to this, I would recommend trying to talk to 2 new people per class. That's something I did, and it was the perfect time to do it because giant pit classes. And it was hard at first, I'm not going to lie, but every time it got easier and easier. And those 2 new people per class turned into some pretty good friends that I still have today. Now, if you're not in school, this is not totally impossible. We do have the internet, and the world has never been smaller. If you can find some people with common interests, like making music, look for guys or girls who have a band photo as their profile picture, like them playing live on stage, and just send them a message about their setup or whatever, or their band, and tell them, hey, I like your band, or what's your setup like, or something like that. People love talking about themselves, and they'll love hearing compliments. Put yourself in their position. If you just got a message out of the blue from someone who said, hey dude, I love your band, what's your setup like? That'd make you feel pretty good, right? If you can make other people feel pretty good, they're going to like you pretty automatically. So again, the world has never been smaller. Give that a shot and see how it goes. Just once a day, or maybe even start once a week and see how it goes. When you're more comfortable with that, you can slowly start making posts online. This is a pretty easy thing for some people already. But I know some people that get pretty bad anxiety about posting online because it's going to be there forever. And what if you see it in 10 years and cringe at yourself, like we all have, I'm sure. You don't have to make this big sweeping declaration or anything online. Just make a small post about what you're doing. Let people in on your projects. Maybe ask a question or a recommendation. That'll get people talking, and they'll be interested in what you're doing if they lent you some advice. Even if you think what you post is lame, someone out there is going to think it's cool. When you're ready, try posting a video of yourself. Showcase what you can do, like if you learned a new guitar solo, or if you took someone's recommendation on drum heads or certain type of strings or whatever. Just make it a very focused video. I'd really recommend making it less than a minute to really keep people's attention spans. Just don't talk about yourself too much. Find a way to add value to people so they become interested, whether it be entertainment or if you're trying to give people some advice on miking drums or something. Just don't talk about yourself too much. Add value to people, and they will watch the whole thing, and they'll appreciate it, and they'll think you're cool. And just know that no matter how far you get, no matter how successful you become, the imposter syndrome never completely goes away. But if you follow these steps, you're going to be much better prepared to expose yourself, put yourself out there, and have some confidence while doing it. Now that you know how to get some confidence, let's talk about how to get good at things. I know it sounds self-explanatory, but I just thought I would throw this in to give you that extra boost. This is a music business podcast, and I'm a record producer, so I'm going to tailor this section to bands and writing music specifically, but it's going to be applicable, like the concepts are going to be applicable to whatever profession you're in. So let's be frank here. Everyone's first song sucks. But you keep writing, you get better, and the songs you write evolve as a result. Most people don't start off as prodigies like Mozart or Bach or whatever. It just doesn't happen often. You know, there's a reason out of the billions, probably trillions of people that have existed the last 2,000 years, you only know a few names. If you want to get better, it's really important to force yourself to keep writing, especially when it gets tough. The pros write and practice every day, and if you want to stack up with the best, you should too. It is challenging, yes, but each tough challenge like this gives you a new skill. And new skills in life lead to things like your dream career or more success in general. They just have to be the right skills. Think of your end goal, then work backwards. On the steps backward, you will find the skills you need to start working on now so you can be that successful future self you see in your end goal. It doesn't pay to work on skills that you don't need for that end goal unless it's just for fun or a hobby. This topic is so important that I might do a whole solo episode on it. By the way, I don't plan on doing too many of these solo episodes, but if you guys like it, reach out to me on the website or on Facebook and let me know. I'd love your feedback. They're going to be shorter ones just because I don't have anyone to go back and forth with, and they're kind of laser focused on these topics. But either way, I'd love your feedback. Let me know. To finish this episode off, just remember that success doesn't happen overnight. Don't quit when it gets tough because you never know how close you are to making it. It's that classic drawing of the guy who's mining and he stops inches away from diamonds because he doesn't think it's going to pan out. I'm not saying don't ever give up on something, because some things are definitely worth giving up on. Like meth, for example. Seems like a good place to start. But when it comes to your dream, the thing that gets you so excited that you can't sleep at night, then the only way to truly fail is to quit. All right, I'll leave it off there. Thanks again for listening. If you want to support the show, you can always get some merch from davidpidillapodcast.com, and of course by sharing this episode with your friends and bandmates. Be sure to check out the Source Track Studio website if you're looking for a producer and are interested in working together on your next music release. Today I am using a little bit different signal chain here. If you like the sound, there's links below for all of the gear. But I'm speaking into my Shure SM7B. That's going into my Hairball Audio Lola, and then into the Distressor, and then into my Apogee AD16X converter. So check that stuff down below. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode.